Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we're jumping straight into a deeply relatable micro case study on overcoming extreme hardship. We're going to break down the timeline, the psychology, and the absolute mechanics of what it actually takes to push through adversity. We're looking at the resilient spirit of a young guy named Ethan. And honestly, for any focused learner out there who feels like their current circumstances are just totally dictating their future, this is the exact explainer you need today. Okay, let's dive into this. Ethan grew up hearing this one brutal phrase repeated over and over by the people in his small town. You are too poor to dream big. I mean, just think about the intense societal doubt packed into those 8 words, right? When you're operating in an environment of total scarcity, people, well, they kind of tend to project their own limitations onto you. They literally laughed at him, just expecting his current reality to be his permanent ceiling. But this whole explainer is really about what happens when you just flat out refuse to accept the limitations that other people try to put on you.
So that brings us to section 1, the weight of the start, growing up in poverty.
To really get this case study, we have to establish Ethan's baseline. He and his mom lived in this tiny, rundown old house. His mother worked day and night, absolutely exhausted, and even with all that grueling effort, they barely had enough food on the table. We're talking severe compounding hardship here. But in response to that harsh reality, Ethan made a defining promise. One day, I will change our life. And this wasn't just some fleeting wishful thought. It was a hardcore, deliberate commitment forged in the absolute toughest conditions imaginable. Moving right along to section 2, a promise in the cold, the igniting spark. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is looking at the exact emotional catalyst that turned that passive wish into an active pursuit. It actually happened on one really cold morning. Ethan looked at his mother's tired face and, man, that image just became the rocket fuel for a relentless work ethic. Honoring that promise meant taking immediate, actionable steps. First up, he worked at a small grocery store every single day after school. No typical childhood playtime, no hanging out. Second, he studied for hours at night while everyone else was fast asleep. He was systematically trading his present comfort to build the foundation for their future. Which leads us to section 3, the friction of the grind, facing rejection. We so often think that immense effort just instantly equals success. But there's always a trials phase, laughed at by townspeople, failed many times, rejected from jobs, faced countless struggles. It is just a chaotic, discouraging barrage of negativity constantly coming at him. I mean, most people would look at this nonstop rejection and conclude the goal is just straight up impossible. But Ethan's defining characteristic was actually incredibly simple. He ignored the doubters, put his head down, and just kept moving forward. All right, section 4. From garage to greatness, building a business. So, armed with years of discipline, Ethan finally takes the massive leap into adulthood and starts a small business directly out of his garage. But he didn't instantly strike gold. Actually, that garage business failed once. Then he tried again, and it failed twice. He tried yet again, and yep, it failed a third time. 3 distinct, crushing entrepreneurial failures. So the crucial point is that he flat out refused to quit. That number 3 right there, it isn't a symbol of defeat at all. It's literally the ultimate metric of his incredible endurance. Let's move to and see how this builds on our timeline here. We can trace a really clear, logical progression of resilience. In childhood, you've got the foundational work ethic at the grocery store. In his youth, that late-night academic sacrifice. In adulthood, the sheer grit to endure failing 3 times in that garage. And finally, years later, the ultimate payoff. His business succeeded, and he achieved the exact thing he promised on that cold morning all those years ago. He bought a beautiful home for his mother. Every single phase was completely necessary to reach that final point. And that brings us to our final part, section 5, the ultimate moral, redefining strength. After all that grinding, the failure, the utter exhaustion, we reach this moment of just profound emotional resolution. Standing beside his mom in that beautiful new home, Ethan smiled and said, "We were poor, but we were never weak." I mean, let the weight of those words really sink in for a second. He completely decoupled financial poverty from mental and spiritual poverty. They lacked resources, yes, for sure, but they never lacked the inner strength or the fortitude to actually change their circumstances. And this brilliantly illustrates true inner resilience, which leaves us with this incredibly powerful definition of success. Success belongs to those who keep going, even when life becomes difficult. It isn't about dodging the struggle, it is entirely about outlasting it. This whole narrative proves that relentless perseverance is the absolute antidote to adversity. So, I want to leave you with this final provocative thought. as we wrap up our explainer today. We've traced the timeline, we've seen the blueprint. Success definitively belongs to those who keep going. So, when life inevitably becomes difficult for you, will you keep going? Take that question with you today, keep learning, keep pushing, and I will see you in the next explainer.